continue. We was talking about, I asked you what was your plans after boxing, but we was talking about boxing being harder back then as it is today.
And it's true. I get it. As an older fighter that's was fighting back in the day, a lot of young fighters call me, I'm an OG in boxing, which I am. And I'd rather be an OG from the 70s because those were tougher than the fighters in the 80s and 90s. It seemed like after 2000 it changed again. Fighters today are fighting for money. They're not fighting to win fights. Win, lose, or draw, guess what? You're a millionaire. Do you really care if you win, lose, or draw? In my time, we got paid. We got paid pretty good for that time. Nothing compared to now. But guess what? If you gave me $2 and someone bet on me, I was fighting. I'm going to fight hard because that was me. That was my era. We had a little bit more pride in it. You know, we just didn't fight for the money. We fought for the money and the win. Because the more you win, the more you make. End of story. Today, you can have a couple losses. Shoot, today, there's guys fighting for titles with 7, 8 losses. Didn't really happen in my time. Not like that.
Did you have to be so ranking, you was a number 10 contender when you fought Rocky Lockridge?
Yeah, you still have to. In the top 10, you have to be rated somewhere in the top 10. Anywhere from 1 to 10
a title fight.
To get a title fight. If you're not in the top 10, you can't get one.
What do you think about Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis's fight coming up in April?
That's going to be a better fight than people think, I think. You know, for me, I think Tank Davis is going to hit too hard. You know what I mean?
He hits harder than Garcia?
Yeah, I think so.
You think he's faster?
A little bit. But watch. Garcia, you want to beat Tank? Let me tell you some old school out there for you. You're taller. You're leaner. You got longer arms. Don't let him get inside. The minute you let him get inside, you're getting your ass kicked. Bottom line. He has the shorter arms. He's gonna get and when you hit the ropes, don't hit the ropes stand straight up. Do not do that. That'll be your fall. Watch this. When you hit the ropes, put your butt in the ropes and start fighting inside. And turn with your shoulders. Don't reach back. Turn with your shoulders. Make them your punches got to travel no further than that. And those are knockout punches. Those are devastating punches because they don't see them. So Tank Davis, his problem. I think it depends on how Garcia fights the fight. He can make Tank Davis have a hard fight if he just moved and used his jab. Garcia. If Garcia moves and uses his jab, he's going to give Tank Davis a hard night. Because nobody wants to get a hit coming in. Because number one, you're cutting into it, so you're running into that jab.
So have you watched, I just watched Garcia's fight against that African guy. And Tank Davis is saying Garcia got one punch, a left hook. That's all he's saying. You ain't got a right hand. So the jab I think is the most important boxing punch in boxing. What do you think about it? It is.
I mean, with anybody with a good jab is going to win fights. Sometimes they may be kind of boring fights, but I'll tell you what, you ain't going to touch them.
They're points.
You know? Yeah, I tell you what, somebody with a good jab, a fast, snappy jab, can make it a hard jab, can drop people with the jabs. I've seen people get dropped with jabs, you know, because they're they're just unexpected. But let's get back to Tank and Garcia. For Tank to beat Garcia, Tank's going to have to move in and keep fighting nonstop. He's going to have to make Garcia fight. There's no other choice. He's the smaller of the two. He's got the shorter arms. He's got to get inside and fight. Because on the outside, Garcia's going to whoop his ass. And if he doesn't, Garcia is going to do the job.
I think it's going to come down to who wants it more, who prepared more, because...
No.
You don't?
No. Because right now, because before, if they were the same size, same this, same that, okay. Yeah, and it was a really close... Okay, yeah. He who wants it more is going to win. But now you got height difference, which is a big deal in boxing.
A big height difference.
Yeah, because your arms are a lot longer. You know, there's a lot of pluses to being taller. There's also a lot of minuses to be taller. Because as soon as Garcia hits them ropes, if he doesn't sink down and put his butt on them ropes and sinks himself down, just use them to get to the infighting, he's going to be in trouble. You know, I knocked out, who was it? Tony Pep. He was the champion from, I forgot where he was from. And he was 6'1" or 6'1" at 130 pounds. Well, when he hit the ropes, guess what? All the tall guys hit the ropes and they do this. First thing they do.
Body
overhand,
open.
No, overhand right.
Overhand right.
And you know what? Collapsed he went, never moved.
Speaking of the overhand right, you just enlightened me about something earlier about your overhand right. Let your viewers know where you learned that overhand right from.
This is a story. And that when I hit Tony Pep, that's the overhand right we were talking about. And then one day I was fighting my, I don't know, 6-rounders, 8-rounders, something like that. I was just beginning, but I was still, noise in Sacramento. And I was driving down from downtown Sacramento on 15th Street, going onto Broadway by there, 15th and R. There was a Chevron gas station. Okay, way before you guys' time, most of you. Before cell phones, they had telephone booths.
Yeah.
It's a booth with a telephone in it. You put dimes in, it makes it work. And there was one at the Chevron gas station. So I pulled over. I need to use phones. I pulled over, got some change out of my car, put some in, was getting ready to make a phone call, and some bum. There's no other way to say it to get out there, but I don't want to describe this man as a bum. But a homeless guy was coming off the tracks, and he come walking toward me. I'm thinking, oh man, here we go, And then so he comes up and he looks at me. I look at him, and he goes, hey man, how can I earn some money from you today? Oh, how can you earn? I go, what do you got? He goes, man, you're that Tiger Lopez guy. You're that boxer guy, huh? And I go, yeah. And he goes, hey, man, yeah, I've seen you on the newspapers, this and that. You're doing really good. And he's just chopping it up. And then, and he goes, hey, man, he goes, what if I tell you how to throw a punch? What if I teach you a punch? Well, is that worth anything? I go, it depends on the punch. If it's any good, it might be worth something. If it's not, it won't. And he goes, okay. So then he started teaching me how to do this overhand right. I'm not going to teach you for free, so if you give me some money, I'll pay you. I'll show you too. So anyway, no, I'm just kidding. So anyways, he shows me this stuff. He goes, man, you look down, do this. And I go, okay. He goes, once you see their eyes, hit your eyes, look down at his body, and I can fake a jab and come back over. And so I did it. It worked with Tony Pep. Guess what? It got me into the top 10 of the world. It got me a title shot. So you know what? And that was just for some guy, and he had just said he lost his house, his family, and all kinds of stuff. And it was a sad story. And he goes, how much do you think that was worth? And back then, I think I gave him like $10 or something. Because I was just coming from the gym. I had a lot of money. So I gave him what I had. And he was happy. And I thought, shit, it might work. So I tried it. And I tried it in the gym. I tried it when I was sparring. And it worked then. And it worked in fights.
And it works now?
It'll still work. I could be 105 years old. It's still going to work.
So a homeless guy that was down on his luck, you happen to run into him downtown. Your trainers didn't show you this. A homeless guy showed you how to throw your overhand right that knocked out who?
Tony Pep.
Damn.
I think he was a Canadian champion.
If you're out there, homeless guy, and you see this video, everyone's on YouTube, please tap in to 12 Rounds of Adrenaline. We need you on our show. We would love to talk to you. We want to learn another punch from you.
And you know what? I still know what he looks like.
Damn.
I remember him.
I bet you he's all cleaned up. He's probably a millionaire.
He probably, hopefully he is. Because, he just seemed like a guy that lost it all, but somebody that, okay, watch this. He didn't ask for a handout. He asked for a job.
I like that.
And he got a job. I paid him $10 for the job. You know what? So that guy's probably living somewhere, probably married with kids again. Hopefully he is.
Back to the first question. So I asked you why you was boxing before you retired, hung your gloves up. Did you have any idea of what you was going to do? Because a lot of people in Sacramento, a lot of people all over the world know what you ended up doing. But did you have a clue to what you was going to do before you retired?
No, not one. Okay, watch. I'm that guy. If you're cool with me, I'm cool with you. I don't care what color you are. I don't care if you're male or female. I don't care if you're fat, skinny, medium, whatever, tall or short. It don't matter. You good with me, I'm good with you. That's kind of, so I talk to everybody. And I tell people all the time, I go, you got to stop hating on people, no matter what they look like or who they are, or where they come from. Don't stop hating on them. because you never know what somebody's going to do for you. You know, maybe one day you're going to be stuck and someone that you consider less than you is going to help you, you know, and then that person becomes more than you when they help you. So you never know. So I've always done that. And so, as a matter of fact, how that worked out was I was fighting in Mexico. I was fighting Julio Cesar Chavez, who can't punch, in Mexico. That fight so pisses me off. Anyways,
he can't punch.
No, he can't. Oh, watch the fight. Never. Did he ever look like he even bothered me? No. So anyways, we were fighting in Mexico, and one of the bounty hunters from Sacramento was there looking for someone in Mexico, and so we happened to be in the same. I was training the same town that he was in, so one day he comes to the gym. And he goes, "Hey, Tony, how you doing, man? I'm from Sacramento, you know, blah, blah, blah." I'm going, "Oh, wow, what's up, dude? How's it going?" I go, "What are you doing here?" He goes, "Man, I'm bounty hunting, looking for a guy, trying to get some information on a guy." I go, "Oh, man." He goes, "How long are you going to be here for?" He said, "I'll be here for a couple of weeks." I go, "Sure, I fight like about 8 days or 9 days." And I go, "Where you staying at?" He goes, "Oh, man, I just got here, so I got to go." I go, "Man, screw that. We'll stay with us, man. We got a hotel, we'll feed you. Just party, man. You're here, shit." So I go, "As long as you can still do your job, you can hang out with him." He goes, "And if you hang out, I'll take you to the fight." And he goes, "Oh man, that would be cool." So we got him a room, and he's hanging out with us for a long time, for the rest of the training time. And then, so he goes, "Hey man," he goes, before he left, after the fight, he stayed for the fight. He was in the corner for the fight. Not in my corner, but, with all my people there. And then we came back, and he goes, "Hey, man," before he left, he goes, "Hey, man, if you ever want to do something, man," he goes, "hit me up. I'll get you into the bail bond business. It's a really good business." And I go, "All right." So he took off, and I left, and then, I don't know, that was in 94, so in 99, I retired. 5 years later, I retired, but, I'm... 30 years old, 29, 30 years old. How old was I? 30? No, I was 36 years old. 36 years old. Jeez. And then when I retired. And then so I did like everybody else. I partied for a whole year, And then my attorney at the time was a gentleman from Sacramento by the name of John Verga. And then he called me into the office one day. And he goes, "Hey," "what have you been doing?" I go, "Nothing, just goofing off, partying, having time of my life." And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "You know what? It's time to go out and get a job." I go, "Huh?" He goes, "It's time to go out and get a job." And he goes, "You're going to be blowing your money." He goes, "Just put some in the bank, go out and get a job." So I go, "Well, what am I supposed to do?" Oh, he goes, "What am I supposed to do?" And he goes, "I have a guy." He goes, "My PI for my business owns a school. He has a PI school." So he goes, "Why don't you become a private investigator?" I'm going, "All right." Never tried it. So I went to PI school. And I was there for a few months. I forgot how many months it was. Maybe 6 months. I don't remember. Took a test. Took my PI test. Passed all that. And I was going to work under his license for the first year. So then he had me, going looking at this and watching this man's wife over here. Watch his husband do this. Mostly that's what it was. Watching people. I'm not a voyeur, you know what I mean? Unless they're paying me. I guess I am, right? So anyway, that's all it really was. And I'm, that's not my thing, I don't feel right, "Oh, go check on my husband. Go check on my wife." Go check on your own. I ain't got time for that, But that was a job. So I did what I had. But then I just told the guy, "Hey, man, I'm going to find something else to do." And then, as I was telling him that I was going to quit, I remembered what the guy told me from Mexico. So I went to his company, and I said, "Hey, is so and so here?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I go, "I want to go talk to him." And so he talked to him, but he wasn't there. Another guy was there that actually that ran the company. And he goes, "Hey, Tony, man, yeah, we can get you licensed up and this and that." And he goes, and remember, now mind you, I just stopped fighting. And I was making, at the time, I was still making hundreds of thousands of dollars per fight. So he goes, I'll give you a job here. You can learn the business here, and I'll give you a job in my office. But we're only going to pay you a minimum wage. My dad told me a lot of good things. But one of the things he taught me was never be too proud. He goes, if you gotta crawl before you walk, you gotta walk before you run. And he goes, so like my dad always said, man, he goes, you can't start at the top unless you own the company. He goes, if you don't own the company, he goes, start at the bottom, learn the business, and open up your own. So that's me. And so I said, okay. I go, I'll work for you. I think they were paying like $8 an hour.
Damn.
And then I go, he goes, they'll teach you everything that you need to know right there. And I go, okay, I'm down. Shit. So, you know, everybody started knowing that Tony and Tiger was working over here. So got a lot of customers.
I bet.
Made a lot. I seen money come in, and I'm like, damn, this company makes money. And I'm going, whoa. And so I learned all that. They really didn't teach me anything. You kind of have to learn it on your own. You just kind of get the gist of it. So being me, I went to school, got studied up on how to pass the test. It's the second hardest test to take in the state of California. The first one is the law, to become a lawyer. And they said the second one is bail bonds.
Really? You got to take a test?
Yeah, you have to take a state test. And it's got a lot of law in it. And then I passed it. I passed it the second time. And then it's a 2-hour test.
And that's to get your license?
As a bail bondsman. And then it's a 2-hour test. I passed. The first time I took it, I flunked it. But I only took like 12 minutes to take the test. It's a 2-hour test. And then the second time I took like 8 minutes. I thought, but the first time I changed a lot of answers. I thought it was just, and I messed up. So the second time I finished in 8 minutes, and I thought I started reading it again. I was trying to change. I go, no, I'm gonna just turn it in. So I got up. They looked at me. She goes, "You're done?" I go, "Yeah." And so she goes, "Okay." So she took it, and they put their little thing to see if you got the correct ones and the correct stuff. And she goes, "You passed." I'm like, "Okay, cool." And she goes, "Your license will be coming in the mail." So at that time, me and my wife, Kathy, started getting all of our stuff together. And the guy said, "Hey, I got an empty office in the front, right there on the street. You can have that office. I'll charge you so much money a month. You can buy my paper for me. I'll charge you so much for that." And so he was making money. He didn't care. So he was making money. And then, so we did all that. And as a matter of fact, when I got my license, it takes like about a month to get your license. I finally got my license in the mail. My office was kind of ready. Because I didn't know what this business was going to do. So I really didn't buy much. As a matter of fact, he had an extra desk in another office because it was an office building. He had another desk in another office that nobody was using. So I took that and he put it in my room. And then I put just a couple chairs in the room just to have a couple chairs. And I had a file cabinet and a couple telephone lines, and that was it. And then and I was sitting down. I'm sitting down like this. I didn't have no signage on my door, nothing, but I'm right across the street from the courthouse. And some man comes in, and he goes, "Hey," he opens the door, he goes, "Are you a bail bondsman?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, okay." He goes, I didn't see no, I just opened up today. You're my first customer. I go, "I just opened up." And he goes, "Aren't you Tony the Tiger Lopez?" I go, "Yeah." I go, "This is my new business." I go, "I don't know how successful or bad it's going to be, but so I'm not really trying to put a lot of money out there if I don't have to. You get it?" He goes, "No. He goes, "Yeah, I get you. He goes, "Man, my son was in jail, you know, blah, blah." They gave him a $100,000 bail. I want to get him out. Oh, no. I'm sorry. It was a $30,000 bond. And he goes, "I want to get him out." And he goes, "The judge just said it was $30,000. I said, "Okay." He goes, "What's that going to cost me?" I go, "You going to co-sign?" He goes, "Yeah, I'll co-sign for him." And I go, "Okay, cool." I go, "What do you do for a living?" He's told what he did for a living. I got his information. I go, he goes, $30,000 bill, it's going to cost you $3,000. He goes, "Oh, do I have to have the full $3,000? I go, "I'll tell you what, man, give me $1,500. Back then, it was $1,500 or kick rocks. I go, "I'll take a down payment of $1,500, payments on the rest if you want." He goes, "Okay." And so then we start talking again. We're talking, I'm filling out the paperwork, and we're just doing what I'm doing. I'm doing the paperwork. And then he goes, "You know what?" He goes, "I'll just pay it all." He goes, "Yeah, it's your first day. I'm your first customer. I'm gonna pay it all." I go, "Cool." So he wrote me a check for $3,000. I took it, took his money, took his information, walked to the jail, got his son out, had his son come down, sign his paperwork, done. I remember going home that night, and my wife was a processor. She had her own process serving company at the time. And I go, "How much money did you make?" And she said, like, a few $100. I go, And she goes, oh, yeah, is that right? She goes, how much money did you make? I go, 3 racks. And she goes, no. I go, yeah. And she goes, how? And I told her. And then after that, it was like a downfall. And then every week, it just got more and more and more. But back then, bail's not nowhere near what it was until the economy fell into, what was that, 07? From 2000 to 07, 7 years, it was money, hand over fist. I was waking up on Saturday morning, goes, I tell my wife, let's go on vacation. And we'd go. You know, I tell you what, if you have enough money, you can go to France that day. It's going to cost you an arm and a leg, but you can get there. It's not what you want to do, it's what you do with that money you got in your pocket. And so, you know, back then, money didn't matter, you know. And so we would do stupid stuff like that. And then we did all kinds of crazy stuff.
So the bail bonds business, you started in what year?
I got licensed in 1999.
99.
Which means, hold on, because this is important. Which means I'm grandfathered into the old Western ways. To the back in the day ways, to where they can fold, spindle, or mutilate anything that gets in the way of putting that person under arrest. So if mom gets in the front or dad tries to block him off, guess what? They're targets too now. Today, after 2000, you had to start taking classes, and it got tougher, and you know, this and that. There's more regulations for you, but I'm grandfathered into the old ways. So when me and my team go, we go crazy. You know, we just do what we do. You know, we kick open doors, we smash windows, we do all kinds of stuff.
You get them.
We get them. You know, and it's not like we act bad because you know what? Because we don't know what we're running into.
Does the guy that ever jumped bail, does he ever feel bad once you get him and apologize?
Yeah, we've had a lot of them. I've had one guy, because we had to set a house down. We had to set a house down. There was like 10 people in the house, maybe 8, I don't remember. In a small duplex, or was it an apartment? I don't remember what it was, a duplex or apartment. And we sat everybody down at gunpoint because we knew that our defendant was in there. And then, so there's the living room. Other side of the living room was kitchen, big wall kitchen, a little doorway to the kitchen, living room, front door, and a couple of rooms and a bathroom, maybe one bathroom over here. And so I'm looking down the hallway, and grandma or mom is sitting here. She might have been like in her 70s or 80s. But, you know, they're still hella ghetto. You know, at 80 years old, they're still hella ghetto. You know what I mean? So she was sitting here. She was in a maxi dress, one of them long dresses to her feet. And so, we have vests on. I carry bombs, guns, you name it, we carry it. And so my boy was going down the room, clearing the rooms. And I was going behind him in case anybody tried to come up behind him. You know, I had him. So he's going down the hallway, checking rooms. And then I'm watching grandma, and I had some other guy watching the people that we had sat down in the living room. And out of the blue, mom's just sitting down. And I'm looking this way. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, mom goes real fast. I mean, and you know, tension is already tight when you're in there. Because first of all, you have your gun out. When you have your gun out, remember, you just brought a weapon into a fight that wasn't ever there. So it's your responsibility. You know, so, and you don't ever really, you know, you don't really think about it. But if you didn't have that gun, nobody would get shot. You know what I mean? So you need to think about when you're carrying a gun, whether you can legally carry it or not legally carry it, you're in a lot of trouble. If that bullet leaves that gun, you're in trouble. You could be in trouble.
What happened?
Well, when grandma stood up real fast, the first thing because I'm looking kind of like this, I have my gun like this, and here's the wall, and I can see down the hallway, and I went wham, but I immediately put my finger on the trigger, you know, and then when I turned around, my gun went boom right on her head. I put her head to the wall, and I said, "Bitch, sit down." I go, "You ever do that again?" I go, "I'm looking at a dead lady." I go, "Don't do that again." And then so she's looking at, and she's a woman, so I'm not gonna search her or do nothing like that because I ain't doing that to her. But if I seen something or like she tried to pull something, she was grabbing, I'd pull that dress off. I don't care. I didn't know what.
So was your defendant inside the house?
Oh yeah, we got him.
You got him.
Oh yeah. So it all comes down to we got him, but It's a very interesting business. It really is. And we did it for I've been bounty hunting for 24 years. And, we go to L.A. We've been to, you name it, we go.
People run.
I go to Mexico. I go to other countries. I go to other states.
That's a question I have. So when they do go out of the country, do you still have jurisdiction to go bring them back?
No, but there's a way to get them, though. See, a lot of people think, oh, I'll just go to Mexico. Okay, go to Mexico, so it might cost your cosigner more money. It ain't going to cost me anything, but it's going to cost your cosigner more money because we get extensions. So all I got to do is say, hey, look, find out what area he's in Mexico, which is easy to do. So then you get the judicial over there, which is the state police. They get the federales. The federales go out there and arrest you, bring you, and here's the thing. They'll tell you, how do you want him back? I go, I don't care how you bring him back. I go, I don't care if you bring him back dead, as long as I get a toe tag. I go, I don't really care. I just need a toe tag. Because once they're in Mexico, you have no jurisdiction. They can do what the hell they want to do. Or once you leave the country. So, I'm thinking of this one guy. So they go, okay. And they knew who I was. They were, Mexico was a big boxing fan. And I was still, Tony the Tiger back then. So, they go, we'll take care of him for you. So what happened was, they electrocuted this guy all night long. They did shifts with some of their, they put his feet in a pan of water. And from what I gathered, they had a battery and they were just, they had shaved his body. And they were just all night long, just knocking. Because the next day, he was dead tired. And I'm going, what happened to you? He goes, oh man, he goes, they jacked me up, dude. He goes, they shocked me all night long. He goes, they kept me awake. They wouldn't let me sleep. He goes, man, they kept doing it all night long.
Third world country shit.
Third world country. They don't care, man. Watch. So if you watch, and that's legal in Mexico. Mexico don't care what they do.
They don't have rules and regulations.
Rules and regulations in Mexico are made to be broken. Now watch, and even watch. I have a house in Mexico. I rent out my house in Mexico. I rent out my house in Mexico. People, hey man, just say you're perfectly fine where I'm at. Where I'm at, every cartel is different. Where I'm at, they like visitors. It's just in Puerto Vallarta. They love tourists. You know why? Because everybody pays rent, meaning the businesses. But watch this. This is a cartel. They don't bother the people. They don't bother the tourists. They don't bother anybody. But if you want to buy something, they have it for you. If you want to act stupid and act a fool, then they'll beat your ass. That's what they do. They don't want no problems, and because they want people to come there. So their thing is, every cartel in Mexico has their own, and they're all different. But the one we're out in Puerto Vallarta, the last time I heard they killed anybody was a crackhead that didn't pay his bill, and that was years ago. And because I go down there all the time, I go every year, sometimes twice a year, and I stay for a minute, and then people are just cool down there, man. The cartel's cool. They don't bother you, don't bother them. If you go buy breakfast, pay for it.
Did you ever meet El Chapo?
No. Hell no. If I met El Chapo, I don't want, hey, you know what, man? And it's cool, and you get all these gangsters and this and that, and even myself, they say, oh yeah, we hardcore. I ain't scared of nobody. I can do, man, I handle my business. Till you get down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, now don't get it twisted. Now I know people that are part of the cartel in Mexico, where I live at. Have I seen the main man? Yes, I've seen him. Once he rolled down his window, I did this. I don't want him to see me. He knows who he knows. I live there. He knows I have a house there. He don't bother me. They don't bother anybody. I'm good. But then again, I don't go down there trying to look for trouble. I don't buy drugs, so I'm good. And here's the thing: if you go down there to buy drugs, make sure you have your money. Don't do stupid shit. And it's like Mexico's like anything else. If you go to Mexico, go where the tourists go. Stay there. If you want to go out and about, make sure you have a guide that goes with you. You can pay a guide to go with you.
Somebody from there.
Yeah, they're called guides. They go with you. They'll make sure you're safe. It's a neat place to be. And I tell you what, in the town that I live in, I've been going back for 24 years, and I've never done everything there is to do there. Because I'm always busy, or I don't have enough time in the time that I go. So I've never been able to do everything. And now it's growing. It's getting bigger. The government of Mexico just said that Puerto Vallarta area is going to be the next hotspot. So that's what the town I live in has gotten huge now. It's big. It used to be a little small, quaint little town. 24 years ago, I think I used to pay like I think it was $1.80 for a full breakfast for me and my dad. It was $1.80.
That's crazy.
You feel bad, you leave a $5 tip. You know what I mean? I'm like, wow.
So the bail business, you ended the bail business. You stopped bailing people out, and you started something new.
Oh yeah.
And I want to talk about what you're doing now and what was the change? Why did you make the change from what you was doing to what you're doing now? Because a lot of people, they think it's when you turn 50, 45, it's too late to change. I say it's never too late to change whatever your goals are.
Watch. When I get tired of this, because I'm never going to retire. I'm going to work till the day I die. Why? Because I like working. Because I like making money. Do I have to? No. But I do because I like to do things. Man, I don't want to say, I've been there. I watched my account go from up here to here, and not really paying attention to it. Well, now that you start paying attention to it, you want to keep it here and let it grow. And so the money that you make off a living, I live off of. I don't, I have my investment. I do all the stuff that I have. I have all that. So now I just want to live. But, I don't want to take money from my savings. I'm not pulling from there. I'd rather just make it. I get more from my retirement, which I'm never going to do. But like my wife, I told her, go get your retirement because it's not going to be there when I go for it. When I get mine, it's probably not going to be there anymore. We're going to get nothing or half of what we expect to get or nothing. Because the government's spending it all. Mm-hmm. And so, and that's really what it is. So it's just, I'm that guy. I always want to do something.
Okay, so your bail bond business, you let that go and you started doing something else. Let's talk about it.
We didn't actually officially let it go. We just started being more and more picky on who we bail out. And watch, today I'm gonna give you a hint. For all you criminals out there or somebody that does something stupid for once in their life and ends up going to jail, if you run, you're an idiot. If you don't go to court, you're an idiot. Today, they don't put nobody in jail for nothing. And if you go to jail, it's such a light sentence, it's nothing. It's just the way it is now. 10, 15 years ago, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Today, they could care less.
And that's a correct statement he made. I'm in them shoes now.
Yeah.
I haven't been there for 5 years. It's the longest I've ever been out. But so you're still doing bail.
Yeah.
Certain individuals.
Yeah.
Family members and
family
friends.
Members, attorneys, people that have attorneys, family members. Now California decided, I just been hearing about this lately, that, I think I made a mistake. Maybe we should keep bail. No shit. You think? I mean, because watch this. If I bail you out and you don't show up to court, I'm coming after you. And watch this. I don't have to be... You don't have to be a great fighter. You don't have to be this. What you have to be is a little crazy. You have to be willing to, like me, if I tell you I'm going to do something, I promise you, I'm going to do what I tell you. I'm not playing. So if I say it, I'm going to do it. And sometimes it's some crazy shit, but I'm going to do it. And people take that lightly. So, but normally, they'll run until they get caught. Once they get caught, the OGs don't even run. Let me give you an idea. I had this guy, I don't remember his bill, $120,000 bill, something like that. OG, guy was about my age, and I was maybe a little bit older. And I was at my desk, we bailed him out, $120,000 bill, something like that. He's paying his payments, he's going to court. He comes up to me, he comes in after court one day, he comes back into my office, and he goes, hey, Tony, he goes, man, we have to talk. I go, okay, what's up? And he goes, hey, man, look. He goes, I'm a man of my word. He goes, you did me a favor by bailing me out. He goes, I'm a man of my word. He goes, I may be he didn't say that. I'm a man of my word. He goes, here's like I tell you. He goes, I just got sentenced today. He goes, I got sentenced 12 years. And he goes, but I have to turn myself in on such date. And he goes, but I'm going to tell you, man, I'm not going to make that date. I go, why is that? And he goes, well, because I'll be gone for 12 years. I'm going to take my family on a cruise. He goes, I'm going to take them on a cruise. I'll be back 2 weeks after that tournament date. He goes, but here's what I'm going to do. He goes, and it just sounded so real, dude. I mean, he was just straightforward, man. He sounded just so real. And I've been belling for years already, so I was past the dumb part, you know. So I'm listening to him, and he goes, hey, man, he goes, I'll give you all my flight information, my ship information, where I'm going, when I'm coming home. And he goes, give me 2 days after I get home. He goes, I'll be in this office with you, ready to go to jail. He goes, I'll let you take me in at that time. And he goes, what do you think? And he goes, I'm sitting there going, fuck, he sounds real. I said, okay. I said, tell you what, just give me all your travel information, the ship that you're going to be on, where you're going, air flights, the whole 9 yards, when you're coming back, when you're leaving, the whole 9 yards. He goes, not a problem, Mr. Lopez. I go, cool. Go ahead and have fun, man. I go, have a blast, dude. Because the worst case scenario, we have to chase him. Which, worst case scenario right back then, now remember, you were making a lot of money back then. So, worst case scenario back then, you got to use your money to chase him. You know, you get it back from the co-signer, but you got to use your money to chase him. So, I figured, okay. So, I don't remember what it was, a month and a half go by. I totally forgot about it. Because we haven't got a forfeiture letter. It takes about two weeks to a month to get your forfeiture letter, which means you didn't go to court, right? And I haven't got one on them yet. So all of a sudden, one day I'm sitting in the office, I'm just kicking back, and all of a sudden you hear this. Come up the step to the Victorian house we had downtown. And I look out the window, I'm going, oh shit, that's that dude. Oh shit, he's back. I'm going, that fool came back? And so he walks in my door, and I look at him, I'm going, dude, you really came back? You know what he told me? Dude, he set me straight, bro. And he told me, I go, why'd you come back? And he goes, because I told you I would, sir. And he always called me sir, and Mr. Lopez. I go, but dude, you came back to do 12 years. I go, why? I go, because I gave you my word. He goes, if you ain't a man about your word, you ain't a man. And I'm going, damn.
How many of those did you have?
And then he tells me, he goes, because we're talking, he goes, and then he set me straight. He even set me more straight. He goes, Miss Lopez, he goes, I might be a bad man and a criminal and all that stuff. He goes, I might be that. He goes, but I'm not a liar. And I went, damn, that's real. You know,
that's hard.
He came back to do 12 years.
Damn.
I'm going, he goes, he's sitting down, I'm sitting there, and I'm tripping, I'm going, whoa. And I'm going, okay, like, I'm gonna ask him, what do we do next?
Yeah.
I go, what's next? And he goes, I'm ready to go anytime you're ready, Miss Lopez. And I go, all right. And I always kept my cuffs at my desk. So I grab my cuffs, and he stands up, and I go, man, I ain't gonna cuff you here, dude. I go, we can walk downtown. I'm not gonna walk you downtown cuffed. I go, we can walk downtown. When we get in front of the jail, I have to cuff you before going to jail. I go, but I'm not gonna cuff you until we get into the front doors. And you go, man, I appreciate that. Come on, man, let's go. And we just talked and bullshitted, and we got to the jail. He turned around. He said goodbye. He turned around, put his hands behind his back. I cuffed him up, walked him in. They
12 damn years.
Can you believe that? Hey, man, watch this. Just because he's a criminal doesn't mean he's a liar. Damn, that was kind of hard, dude. That really was. But you know, it's a life. It's one of my life lessons I've learned. You know. That's why it's people like that hit your life. They stepped in my life for a reason. You know, God put it in there for a reason. You know what I mean? And so I guess it was to teach me a lesson, because I remember I changed after that point. I'm not saying everything I've done has changed because of that, but a lot of it, the way I think, have changed because of it. You know, I believe people a little bit more now. Sometimes I shouldn't, but you know, I give most people the benefit of the doubt. And if they don't, and if I say, look, if you don't do A, B, and C, I'm going to do FYG. FYG you don't want done, because it's going to ruin your family. It's going to, I go to people's jobs. I go to the, hey.
You're going to get them. So let me ask you this. Did you ever see that cat again?
No, but you know what? And it's been years, so I know he's out. But I've always wondered whatever happened to him. And not a lot, but here and there, I go, this conversation comes up. You know, have you ever?
That's someone you remember.
Yeah,
because
dude,
he did
I remember
what he
what
did.
he looks like. I remember. I don't remember his name. Hell,
Is that the first time you ever dealt with him and bailed him? Is that his first time?
Once.
Because I know you probably bailed the same person out 4 or 5 times.
Oh yeah,
sometimes.
a lot of those.
You had continuous customers.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if they could, they'd be on the here. Just take so much money a month and just bail me out.
Hey, so I got to ask you this: what are you doing now in life after the bail bonds?
Okay, well, watch. Here's what happened. Bail started going down after the economy fell. You know, bail went back in 2007. We used to make a ton of money. After 2007, when the economy fell, we didn't make anything. And for years, it lasted. And then it started coming back. Years later, we lasted for like about 5 years, 7 years, or whatever it was. I don't remember. But our account was way down because we were still trying to run that business. And then it came back a little bit. We were enough to pay our bills and maybe make a couple bucks in our pocket every month, and that was about it, really. And then, so as long as I was paying the bills, I wasn't taking from the savings, so that was good. What was ever left of it, because it took the mass majority of it. And then, you know, I told my wife, hey, we didn't complain when we were making money, so we ain't gonna complain now. We'll just write it out. You know, that's all you can do. And then it started paying itself, and then I just knew what hit me. Something gave me a hint of the state of California was going to try to get rid of bail, like 5 years ago, 6 years ago. So I told my wife, I go, you know what? I'm going to find me another job. And she goes, doing what? I go, I don't know. I'm just going to find me another. I go, they're going to get rid of bail one way or another, and I'm going to find another job. Because, you know, because in the stuff in my after boxing life, the money business, the money earnings for me went up and down like this. It went from a lot to nothing, a lot to nothing, and it did that. You know, but that was just the luck of the straw and the way shit went. So, you know, but myself, I don't really cry about anything. You know, I don't cry about when I'm doing good. I don't cry when I'm doing bad. You know, it is what it is. And so, she goes, okay. She goes, what are you gonna do? I said, well, I don't know. She had a friend that she had met that her boyfriend owned a plumbing business. And so we became kind of friends, and watch this. And he said he's a guy that you normally wouldn't see me hanging out with, but he's a cool cat, man. He's a good dude. So we started hanging out, and he's a cool cat, so we started hanging out. And then we went to Mexico a few times, and I still at the time I still did vacations at the last minute, which cost a lot of money. And you know, like I might say, hey, man, let's say it's Wednesday. What are you gonna do Saturday? I don't know. Let's go to Mexico. Because I had the house in Mexico. And he never said no. This fool never said no. And we'd go for 12, 13, 15 days. And he never said no.
Drop of a dime.
Yeah. So then this is the guy that owned the plumbing company. So he goes, and at the time, me and Kathy were going to move to Vegas. Because Vegas was a boxing town. It still is. And it's a boxing mecca. So we go, what are you going to do then? I go, shit, I can do anything I want. I'm a 3-time world champion. Vegas, I can do anything I want. We're getting into casinos, making good money. $100,000 in Vegas right now. In Nevada, you're a baller. You're doing okay, you know? Maybe you're not a baller, but you're doing okay. And then, so I go, okay. So he goes, well, why don't you do plumbing? I go, because I don't know how to do plumbing. He goes, come work for me, and then I'll teach you how to do it. I thought, got to crawl before you walk. Sure, I'm down. He goes, okay, so he goes, come meet me Monday and we'll start working. So first on Monday, we go to lunch. We go to luncheon with some guys, we're BSing, and he's showing me off, and we're just talking around. You know, I'm a Tony Tiger, you know, because back then, back then I was still Tony Tiger. And so I go, dude, I can do this. Can we do that for like that whole week we did it? I go, dude, I can do this on my own, bro. I don't want to do that. I want to learn plumbing. And he goes, well, what part of the plumbing do you want to learn? I go, I want to learn it all. And he goes, no, you don't want to do that. I go, yeah, I do. I go, how do you expect me to run a company? Because I want to start my own company. How do you expect me to start a company if I don't know what I'm doing? And he goes, yeah. He goes, I did it. I go, yeah, but you got lucky. I go, that's all that shit. You got lucky. I go, you got good plumbers and they work for you. And that's how you got lucky. And he starts laughing. And I go, so just start me at the bottom. He goes, okay, but the bottom's digging. I go, I'll dig. I ain't afraid to dig. I go, who's afraid to dig? And I'm 50-something years old. I go, I ain't afraid to dig. He goes, okay. So the following week, he hooked me over, he put me on a truck with one of his guys that do all the digging, all the grunts. I guess that's what I was. So I did all the digging, did all the hard stuff. I did all the stuff that none of the plumbers wanted to do. So he put me on, and then he put me in with Larry. Larry is a superb plumber. This guy knows everything. He's a real plumber. And this guy, but he charges like he's a real plumber. And so I started working with Larry. And then all Larry wants to do is plumb. He don't want to dig. He don't want to do anything. So I do it all. If he's on it, but me and him worked a couple of days, and he'd always have me go get his tools. And I said, man, bullshit. I'm not your tool retriever, dude. You know, so I went back I got some tools. I went back to my remember time. I go, hey, dude. I go, look, man, I'm not here to fetch your tools. I go, check this out. You want me to fetch your tools? I said, he goes, well, yeah. I go, no. I go, here's how it's going to go. If you want me to fetch your tools, I'll fetch every tool you tell me to get. And I'll be fast when I do it. I go, but when I come back here and ask you questions and watch what you're doing and ask you why you're doing it and how you're doing it and why you're doing it that way, I go, you answer every question I have. And he goes, okay. So he asked for that tool. I ran down and got it, came back and asked him a million questions. And you know what? He answered every question. And over years, this is years, I've done this with him. And it got to the point where he finally goes, here, there's a kitchen sink that a pipe needed to go out the ceiling. And so, it's a long story. And it's not the sink, but by a stove. So I said, he goes, here, do it for me. He goes, I'm going to be doing this over there. Okay. So I went and grabbed it. Took me maybe about an hour. Did it. And he goes, oh, you're done? I go, yeah. He goes, he looks at it, checks it out. He goes, oh. He goes, how'd you learn how to do that? Watching you for the last 4 years. I mean, you know, he never really let me do anything but let me watch.
So you learned from, wait. So you actually was working for somebody, learning the business, and then took it to the next level and started your own business.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Because watch. It's not hard. Plumbing's not hard. Well, some of plumbing is. But plumbing's not hard. Plumbing's common sense. Having the right tools and having the knowledge how to work them tools. That's plumbing. And so you'd be surprised how many people can do it if they had the right tools. I got a truck. It's got a lot of money in tools, and I have the right tools. So I can do anything, repair and replace. I'll dig up the cement in your house and change the pipes out that are broken underneath in the cement. I do all that.
You tried to do my son's dig his up, but he didn't own the house, so we couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so today we covered a lot of things, but there's a lot more to come. I got hella more questions. We just ran on with this. We got to edit this shit out of this. So Monday, we will be filming at 5 o'clock, 12 rounds of adrenaline with a little bit of this.
And a little bit of that.
Stay tuned Monday at 5 p.m.
All right.
If you haven't already hit the like button, hit that like button. If you already haven't, hit that subscribe button. But definitely hit that notification bell. We need you to hit that notification bell. We're trying to get monetized. Tony needs a paycheck. He don't want to do this for free. Hit that notification bell so you're notified our next video. See y'all later. Stay blessed. Tell the people you love them.